Talking of bathing suits, let's talk about Miss Netherlands. So at the weekend, Ricky Valerie Coley, who was a transgender entrant to Miss Netherlands competition, won the title. So a biological male has been voted Miss Netherlands and will now take part in Miss Universe. Michaela, your thoughts?
What do you think is the solution to something like this? Do you think that there should be a transgender pageant?
There could be a transgender pageant. I don't know how many people would actually be in it. This is one of those things where, I'm sorry, but you're born a biological male, you cannot compete in the female one. And if you're born a biological female, you can't compete in the male one.
Okay.
And that's it.
Do you think that the transgenders are winning, because this is not the first time we've seen this, do you think that the transgenders are winning purely because they're transgender, so people want them to win for that reason, because of inclusivity?
100%. If you saw the women in this competition, I looked over them on Google, not even fucking close. Not even close. And the other one that we covered a long time ago, do you remember? The really overweight Chinese looking, I think they were either Chinese or Japanese something, and they won Miss whatever in some state. Not even close. That one didn't even try. This was not close. I mean, women in Netherlands are already very attractive as it is. So imagine the women that are in a beauty pageant. This is a mockery. This is a joke. This has to be a joke. Someone that is higher up has to see this and be like, what in God's name are we doing? On one hand, we've got films like Barbie that are trying to champion women. And then on the other hand, we've got this situation where everyone's like, this is fine. This is okay. Make it make sense to me, please. This is someone that has taken an opportunity away from a woman. The women of the Netherlands have had an opportunity taken away from them. And potentially, this individual could win Miss Universe. Miss Universe. This makes absolutely no... I don't even know how we've gotten here.
I have a question for you as well. So, if somebody wants to be a woman, right? I know you're saying you can't become a woman. Fair enough. However, if somebody wants to become a woman and they're doing everything in their power to become a woman, you know, having a sex change, living their life as a woman, dressing like one, looking like one.
What does living your life as a woman mean?
Dressing like one, looking like one, acting like one. Okay. Having a sex change, you know, just overall doing everything a woman would do, right? This is what they want and the life that they want to live. Do you not think that they deserve a chance to do what women do if they're doing everything in their power to become a woman? Whether they are or not, just in terms of as a human and their own personal feelings and emotions. What's your opinion on that? I'm not defending this, by the way, before people start coming at me in the comments. I'm just exploring ideologies behind this.
If you want to do that in your day-to-day and you want to spend money doing that, that's up to you. I don't think that these commissions, these sports institutions, the government and whoever else should be making concessions for it in this manner. Miss Universe and Miss Netherlands is for females. All you're doing is infringing on those women. If you want to go in your day-to-day in high heels and you want to be referred to as she, her, and you change your name and you change your appearance and you go to your desk job or whatever, I don't care. But then if you're going into Miss Universe, you're going into the octagon, you're going to compete with female tennis players, you're no longer just doing your own thing and living your life. You're now infringing on people that have worked to be in those positions. Because don't forget, being in the Miss Universe competition isn't just about good looks, right? They go over multiple things. And to stay in that shape is very difficult. So for you to go into their space, you're now no longer just doing your own thing. You're now infringing on people and they have to bow their heads and shut up. Because if they say anything, they're going to be regarded as transphobes, which is absolutely absurd. Using the word phobia on these things actually annoys me.
Okay.
It's not a phobia. You're just infringing on my space.
Okay. So another question. Is what you're saying is then that they can't partake in such activities because
Correct.
they're not a woman. So where and what can they have in life if they can't do that?
That's not anyone else's problem. You choose that road. That's it. We don't have those leagues in place, even though these commissions and these institutions have more than enough money. They turn over profit all the time. If they want to open you up your own league, I don't care. No one's going to care. Do your own thing. So
because if we're going to start opening transgender pageants, that means they're going to have to do, well, is there men's pageants?
I don't think
No.
so.
So then they could,
Bodybuilders.
realistically, they could do a transgender pageant.
Well,
They
you can't.
really could do it.
You can't, because the people that subscribe to this way of thinking believe that this person that has won Miss Netherlands believes they are a woman.
But I think it's the only solution with situations like this because
It's not, unfortunately, it's not a solution. It sounds good on paper, but the people that believe that they are women are going to say,
no,
I want to compete in this league because I'm a woman, and if you don't let me, I'm a transphobe.
I get that, and I get that that's their way of thinking. Okay, if I'm going to be real then, which you'll like me for, do I agree with the transgenders taking part in the women's beauty pageants? No. Do I think that they still deserve an opportunity to partake in such activities because that might be a dream of theirs? Yes. And personally, I think the only solution is to do a transgender pageant. However, I get your point. It's not ever going to work that way because they're going to see it as, well, I am a woman, I should partake in this. And they're not going to accept having their own thing. But I think there does need to come a level of acceptance of them having their own sort of category because...
Oh, so you're okay with them being in beauty pageants just as long as it's their own category?
If it's a transgender beauty pageant that's just purely transgender women, say, then yeah, I'm sure there's loads of transgender women that would love to do a beauty pageant. And it's the same way you wouldn't have a normal man in a women's beauty pageant is the same way you wouldn't have a biological woman in a transgender pageant because you're different. You see what I'm saying? So I think there should just be... is this bad what I'm saying?
No.
I think maybe there should be a transgender sporting event, a transgender beauty pageant. I think they should have their own, you know...
So just to clarify, just so everybody at home knows what you're saying they should have their own leagues and their own pageants and they shouldn't infringe on women.
I think it should be kept separate.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Are you happy now?
Yeah.
I hope he wins Miss Universe. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. It's I don't even know how to react to these situations because women fought so hard to get where we are today. I was just looking at the picture of the Boston Marathon runner in 1967, and it's this woman, and she's being grabbed by men on the track because women weren't allowed to compete. That's where it started. And now we're here, and there are men competing in our sports, and I have no idea how feminism came full circle.
It's so bizarre. And Kat, I mean, only yesterday, Megan Rapinoe, one of the great female sports stars in American history, came out as she retires, which might be convenient timing because it won't apply to her, and said, I'd be very happy if trans athlete sports women come and play in the American women's team. Well, fine, but what happens if they're all 11 biological males representing the American women's team? I mean, this can't be right, surely.
I think what's even worse is people saying that if you have some issue with a biological male competing in sports, then the only reason for that is that you're transphobic and not the research that you can point to that shows that someone who's gone through male puberty could have various advantages over a biological woman in these activities, in these sports. It's not a zero-sum game when it's these conversations. There's scholarships, there's different things on the line there. And I think that really just taints the whole entire issue. When it comes to pageants, I do want to get on the record that I think pageants are lame.
Right. I mean, that could be a perfectly reasonable argument, that they're all lame. But Tara, it seems to me like every aspect of womanhood is, for want of a better phrase, under attack from the trans lobby that basically want to have their rights superseding women's rights to just be competing against other females.
Now, to be fair, my opinion is going to be skewed because I am I do identify as a phobic. So I am phobic on everything. So the idea that, in this, what does it say about women that a man can just switch and be a woman and inside of 6 months win everything? So, you know, where are the feminists? Turns out the feminists are the alpha males, because we're the only ones complaining about this.
Right.
And I think it's whenever, you always have to follow the money. Whenever somebody comes out and says, I think this, and doesn't make sense with the soccer player, I guarantee you, if a trans man took her job,
Yes.
that would not be the conversation.
Oh, it'd be mayhem.
It'd be, you know, and it's just like the same thing with like the equal pay thing. When you do the math, they actually were making more than the men. So it just goes back to narratives. They say things. There's no way, I don't care what makeup, hair, or whatever, that any man to transitions is going to be more beautiful than a woman. It's just not. Pageants, the scholarships, the modeling jobs that go with it, it's political. You can't tell me like
That's straight facts. That is true. No matter what they say, no matter what people say to me, a man is never going to look more beautiful than a woman when they're going up there to compete. It is insulting. I don't even know how more people are outraged by this shit. It's nonsense. And you know, I think people get confused because we're going to do another reaction to a video that Piers Morgan and James O'Keefe got into, I think his name, on LBC. And there's a lot of things that James O'Keefe says in that I think were a bit arse-pully. But one thing that I think people forget is that this is a problem top down. People on the ground that are looking at this, trans people included, people in the LGBT community included. I've spoken to people about this particular situation just to get their take on it, and they think it's dumb as well. The problem is that these institutions are pushing it. So when these institutions are pushing it, you're in Pride Month and all of these companies suddenly care about you and they're pushing it. It's not everyday people. Everyday people think this is nonsense. It's the top down. It's top down. They are doing this. They're passing things that people in their own community don't agree with. And then obviously you get some people on the ground, although that is growing, I think, that agree with it, and they become the loud majority, the loud minority. I don't think anybody in their sane mind thinks that this is okay. Imagine being one of those beautiful women on stage and you just took that L. I would be fucking furious.
and I don't know, that person can be the nicest person in the world, but there's no way that is the best representation of a woman.
Also, when Megan Rapinoe talks about this, she likes to position herself as all about equality. She fought a very good campaign for the women players to be paid the same as the men. Great, OK, they get big audiences, they're world champions. I can sign up to that. But what's equal about allowing people with an obvious physical advantage to come in and decimate women's sport? It's not equal. So you can be all about equality right to the point you say this stuff, then you're not about equality.
Yeah, all of these things where feminists have fought for the rights for women to get equal pay or have their own spaces or be respected as equals in the eyes of the law and society are the same people now that are just turning it on its head. And I'm just like, am I in a dream or something? Like the very things you thought for, you're just giving them back. It makes no sense. I'm not saying that people can't live their lives the way they want to, but just because you make a choice in your life doesn't mean the rest of society has to bend over for you. It's ridiculous. But, I mean, if they want to play this game, all that's going to happen is men are going to go back to dominating everything. They'll dominate their own leagues. They'll dominate your leagues. We'll have our own beauty pageants. We'll beat you at your own game. That's all that's going to happen here. Men are just going to continue to take W's until enough women actually open their eyes and be like, do you know what? Lines need to be drawn here. And lines do need to be drawn here. I do like they used to call him Funky Saurus in WWE. I can't remember what his actual name is, but I think it's Brodus Clay, something like that. But like he was saying, it seems to be men, like these men that you wouldn't really expect to be fighting these battles on behalf of these women. But I also hear that I've seen some of the girls in our comment section saying that we do speak up and we get silenced. Our comments get deleted off Twitter. They get removed off YouTube. You know, YouTube removes comments without even telling you.
Oh, really?
And sometimes you come back, you can't even find the comment, and we end up getting the blame for it. Or you remove the comment. So I get it where people are being silenced for having their opinions. I've seen it happen. I've even had tweets deleted myself way back in the day when it's being run by those psychos. But I don't know. I don't really know what the solution is unless everyone bands together and just says, look, you can live your life the way you want to live it, but that doesn't mean that you can infringe on everybody else's rights. Until we all get on the same page there, then, you know, we're going to continue to have this problem. Everybody's got a line, right? And right now, they might see us as the biggest. But they've also got their line. Their line is just over here. And this nonsense is going to cross their line one day. And then they're going to be seen as bigots. The problem with this whole woke movement is you can't be woke enough. There is no limit to this BS. First it was like, I think it was track and field. Then it was swimming. Then it was the octagon cage fighting. Now it's beauty pageants. What else? Prisons, sending biological men to female prisons, and people saying, oh, it's fine because they identify that way. Well, if it's going to be that way, we might as well just all identify as women, because you're all going to take L's against men consistently.
Yeah, it's unfair.
Do you know what the funniest thing is? Even the thing that we have sort of like defined women by for a long time, which is their beauty, right? Even that, you lost that. Even that, you took the L at. So until people pull their heads out of their asses and see what's going on here, yes, you're going to take L's. And if you're supporting this stuff, then you deserve exactly what you get. I know most level-headed women, which is most women, don't support this bullshit. But to the ones that do, they're ruining it for you. And there is only so much we can do. You're going to have to get them to pull their heads out of their asses. I'm very happy to sit here on the front lines and talk about these issues on YouTube, knowing full well that they can get me in trouble. But nothing's going to change unless everybody bands together. So if you want to stay losing to men, then stay losing to men. But that's how it's going to be. Even beauty pageants. Beauty pageants.
It's true. Like, everyone can't keep getting silenced. It's unfair. And the only way anything is ever going to change is if people do speak up for what they truly believe in.
Yeah. Yeah, people do need to speak up for what they truly believe in. Otherwise, we're going to be in the upside down real quick. Actually, we're already there.
We are literally.
But the rope hasn't snapped. I can still see the portal.
I can't see light at the end of the tunnel.
You can't see in general, but I can see the portal. And we can pull ourselves out.
I'm trusting you.
But you guys with your fingers in your bum, you need to pull them out real quick, because that portal is getting very, very small.
It's getting tougher and tougher.
It's getting so, I might not make it through, but I can push you guys through. I'll stand back and fight this for you. Come save me in 30 years.